Think about the last time a friend called you, in pain, for the third time that week. You listened. Again. You stayed with them. When you hung up, you felt hollow, heavy, drained. And then, quietly, a flicker of resentment. And then guilt for the resentment. You thought, what is wrong with me? Nothing is wrong with you. In 2013, neuroscientist Tania Singer put people in fMRI scanners and watched exactly this moment in the brain. Two completely different things were happening. One depleted people. One did not. You have been using one your whole life. This episode teaches you the other. In studies of healthcare workers, 67% of nurses show clinical signs of empathy fatigue within 3 years. Half of therapists report emotional exhaustion severe enough to affect their practice. And yet, in the same studies, compassion fatigue was essentially unmeasured. Because compassion does not produce the same burnout. That distinction is what this episode is about. If you want content that is this research-backed every week, subscribe to Tatveda right now. This channel exists for one reason, to help you understand yourself and the people around you more deeply. Let us start with empathy and be precise about what it actually is. Because most people describe it as a feeling, when it is really a mechanism.
Empathy is your nervous system stepping inside another person's experience. You do not just understand that they are in pain. Your body registers a version of that pain. The mirror neurons in your brain fire as if the experience were happening to you. This is why watching someone stub their toe makes you wince. This is why sitting with a grieving friend can leave you feeling hollowed out by the end. Empathy is not a choice in those moments. It is a biological event. Researchers distinguish 3 layers. Cognitive empathy. You understand what someone is thinking and feeling, intellectually, without being pulled in. Emotional empathy. You actually feel what they feel, in real time. And somatic empathy. You carry it in your body, tension, fatigue, a heaviness you cannot explain until you realize you have been absorbing someone else's stress for hours. Most of us move between all 3, often without noticing. Here is where it becomes important. When you practice deep emotional empathy over and over, with your patients, your children, your colleagues, your partners, your nervous system begins to treat their distress as your own distress. Cortisol rises. Your sleep suffers. Your decisions get clouded. Neuroscientist Tania Singer calls this empathic distress, the point where feeling with someone stops being connection and starts being damage. Singer's lab measured cortisol levels in people after sustained high empathy interactions. The numbers were significant, comparable to acute stress events. Decision quality dropped by roughly 40% when people were carrying high empathic load. And the emotional signal lingered for up to 90 seconds after the other person had left the room. If you recognize this in yourself, that lingering weight, please hit the like button. It helps this research reach the people who need it most.
Now compassion. And the key thing to understand is that compassion is not less caring. It is not cold or detached. It is the same depth of care, with a fundamentally different posture.
Compassion does not require you to feel what they feel. It requires you to see what they feel, clearly, without flinching, and to respond from a place of warmth rather than absorption. I see your pain. I want to help. I am not overwhelmed by it. That last part, not overwhelmed, is not a failure of sensitivity. It is what makes sustained help possible. A doctor who collapses in grief with every patient cannot treat anyone. A parent who absorbs every fear their child has cannot calm them. Compassion is the posture that lets you stay in the room. Here is the distinction, side by side. Empathy says, I feel what you feel. I step inside. Compassion says, I see what you feel. I stand beside you. Empathy absorbs. Compassion witnesses. Empathy is involuntary. Compassion is chosen. And critically, empathy deplates. Compassion, when practiced well, actually generates a sense of meaning and warmth in the person giving it. Singer's research showed that compassion training activated the brain's care and reward networks, while empathy training without compassion activated the pain networks. Singer's lab used fMRI to map what happens in the brain during empathy versus compassion. Empathy, especially emotional empathy, activated the insula and anterior cingulate cortex, the brain's pain networks. Compassion activated the medial orbitofrontal cortex and the ventral striatum, associated with warmth, love, and reward. Same situation. Same person in pain in front of you. Different internal response, based purely on the stance you take. And critically, Singer showed this stance can be trained. 8 weeks of compassion practice measurably shifted which network dominated in response to others' distress. So what does this look like in real life? When you feel yourself beginning to absorb, the hollow chest, the weight behind the eyes, that is your nervous system going into empathic distress. The pivot is simple and it starts with one sentence. Not, I feel your pain. But, I see your pain. I am here with you. That verbal shift, even if only internal, signals a different stance to your nervous system. You remain present. You remain caring. But you do not dissolve into the other person's experience.
Here is your practice for the week ahead. It is called the witness stance, and it is one of the fastest ways to shift from empathic distress into compassionate presence.
The next time you are with someone who is hurting, notice the moment your body starts to tighten, hollow, or blur. That is the absorption signal. Take one slow breath. Ground your feet. And silently say 3 things. I see you. I am here. I am not you. Then offer your help from that grounded place. This is not coldness. This is how love sustains itself across time.
Empathy without boundaries is self-destruction. Compassion with presence is love that lasts. If this changed how you think about the way you show up for people, subscribe to Tatveda. We promise you only research-backed content, built for your betterment, your career, and your intelligence. Share this with someone who gives too much of themselves and wonders why they always feel empty. And hit the like button. It takes 1 second and it helps this reach the people who need it. Next episode, the NVC framework, a 4-step language that transforms even the hardest conversations. Until then, see clearly, stay present, and choose compassion.